Good morning and welcome to the brief here on News First. I am Shahin Rampati and these are stories trending this morning. Second reading of the budget passed in Parliament. 17 trade unions to go on strike. Prime Minister talks of Port City project at CSE anniversary celebrations. The second reading of the 2016 budget was passed in Parliament with a majority of 107 votes. Now, following the conclusion of the vote, President Maithripala Sirisena thanked all the government and opposition members in Parliament who contributed to pass the 2016 budget in Parliament.
The fuel allowance is 201,000 rupees. Mahinda Rajapaksa, who obtained a sum of 349,000 rupees from the Presidential Secretariat with regard to the pension, is not here to speak in Parliament. Honourable Speaker, although it was proposed to increase the emission tax, motorcycles and three-wheelers have been exempted from that increase. Although it is charged from the private sector, I wish to announce here that the 5,000 rupees has been included into the consolidated funds. The charge to discourage voluntary registration has been amended to 50,000 rupees. The minimum investment required for international collaboration for international cargo transport will be limited to $5. The proposed charge for container vehicles entering the Sri Lanka Ports Authority premises is 100,000 rupees. This is for container carriers that are to be registered. This charge will be amended to a one-time only charge. Regulations that are in place for providing lands to foreigners have not been removed. The tax on leasing of lands will be amended. Presentation of cash was proposed as an alternative for the vehicle permit for the government officials. I hope to implement this alternative program under a tax concession program to import a vehicle. A proposed program will be announced in the future. There is infrastructure facilities, education and health. We have constructed a number of expressways. Capital of 874 billion has been allocated. I wish to announce that the 2016 budget is the one that has allocated its large sum of capital after 1979. We challenge this. Is this why you have no faith? Is this why there is no positive note on this? This is not from the UNP, the SLFP or the JVP or the TNA. This is the economy of the nation. That is why we need to come together.
The Joint Committee of Executive Officers in All Island Services, comprising of 17 trade unions of the public service, including the Government Medical Officers Association, have decided to launch a strike today. The following statements were recorded yesterday.
The
Government Medical Officers Association, along with the Joint Committee of Executive Officers in All Island Services, will commence a trade-in action from 8 a.m. tomorrow. We have decided to continue with the operations of the emergency services. The trade union action will not be in effect at the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children, the Castle Street Hospital for Women, the Zoisa Maternity Hospital, the Cancer Institute and the Sirimau Bandaranayake Specialist Children Hospital. We hope that the sensitive nature of this action will be given consideration and talks will be called for either today or tomorrow.
The Engineering Professionals Association organized a protest opposite the Ministry of Public Administration against the curtailment of the rights of the public servants. Thereafter, the demonstrators marched towards the Prime Minister's office and handed over a letter. The Federation of University Teachers Association says that it is disappointed with the nature of the allocations made by the government for the education sector.
The government announced that more funds will be allocated for the education sector. They announced an increase of over 5%. When we analyze allocation, only 3.7% of the GDP has been allocated for education. The budget includes something called the capital carrying cost. This is not a cost that should burden the government. When we make the calculations, it will be around 2.72%. We are aware that 6% of the GDP cannot be allocated for education. If this is properly formulated with 30% a year, by 5 years, we can see the increase.
Drivers of school transport services operating in Colombo raised black flags in their vehicles against the increase of the emission tax.
The Colombo Stock Exchange, the main stock exchange in the country, celebrated its 30th anniversary yesterday at a special event that was presided over by the Prime Minister.
The 30th anniversary celebration of the Colombo Stock Exchange was attended by Minister of Finance Ravi Karnanayaka, Governor of the Central Bank Arjuna Mahendran and other distinguished guests.
If the Port City project gets on the way, I think there will be some form of landfill there. Then that could have the makings of a special business and financial district, which will be a unique one in South Asia at the Treasury, and we have discussed. we have to move away from the old economy into new, but there are spending that we have to carry. And I must tell you that we still don't know how much of debt has been left behind our predecessors. So we may have to bring a contingencies liability bill to Parliament sometime next year, and the Parliament will make recommendations for Parliament to decide how the additional revenues are being raised to pay for these expenditures.
The Prime Minister also commented on the government's aim for economic growth.
First, we have to maintain our momentum and ensure there's whatever happens, there's a 6.5% growth rate for next year. But then from 6.5%, whatever be the problems we face, we have to go to a higher growth rate. We have to achieve 8%, and we have to ensure sometimes we can get 9%. Now, these are difficult tasks, but not impossible. So all our efforts have to be mobilized to achieve this demand.
Also,
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe opened trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange by ringing the opening bell and also made a note on the visitors log on the CSE.
And that is a wrap of the brief here on News First for today. For the News First team, I am Shanji Rampati, reminding you to stay briefed.